Hello, this is Matt on the Moon Lambo channel. I know there are still a lot of scared people out there. That happens every single time price goes down, but the price isn't gonna go down forever, and we are still in a bull market. And I'll tell you this at the outset of the video. One of the very best chart analysts in the entire crypto space, so far as I'm concerned, just put out a post indicating that he believes, in all likelihood, XRP is about to absolutely rip compared to Bitcoin. You're gonna like what I got to share with you here. But before going further, I do want to be clear, I do not have a financial background of any kind. I am not offering financial advice, and you definitely should not buy or sell anything because of anything I say or write. I'm just an enthusiast who enjoys making YouTube videos about crypto-related topics, but just as a hobby and just for fun. As I record this video, it is 3:58 a.m. Central Time, so it's now Wednesday, August 20th, 2025. XRP at $2.90. Bitcoin just crept back above $114,000, but we've had a little bit more of a shakeout, haven't we? Yes, XRP got as low as $2.86 Tuesday evening. It would have been around, probably around 8:45 p.m. Central here. It's at the same time Bitcoin bottomed out. I mean, these are basically the same damn chart. The entire asset class moves in tandem. This shouldn't be surprising unless you're brand new to crypto, in which case, welcome to the party, son. But here you have Bitcoin last night, Tuesday evening, dropping as low as $112,757. So we're up a little bit from there, but definitely not time to be fearful. As pointed out by Cointelegraph, and they shared this chart from Santiment, mind you, on-chain analytics firm. I wrote here, retail traders turned ultra bearish after Bitcoin dipped below $113,000, marking the most negative sentiment since June 22nd. Historically, this extreme pessimism signals a buying opportunity, as markets often move opposite to crowd expectations. And folks, that is the story that never ends. It just keeps repeating on loop over and over and over again. So every time the market dumps, it turns out you look back at that X amount of time later and like, oh wow, that would have been a good time to buy. It just felt scary at the moment. That's what happens every damn time. And then at the top, when there's actual euphoria at the peak of a market, it doesn't even have to be the peak of a market, but when there's just extra exuberance in the market compared to whatever the norm might be, you have all sorts of people feeling confident it's just going to go up forever then. And then the market does correct. It's just over and over and over. You just got to get used to this, recognize it, and then you know what I think makes sense, and you guys do whatever the hell you want. That's what's been working for me since late 2017 when I jumped into crypto, is I buy and then I do nothing. It is that simple. This is why I have nothing to sell you. I have no course to sell you because it is that simple, actually. Now, there's more to discuss. There's all sorts of things to say, or else I wouldn't have a YouTube channel. But, if you just want to get to the core of the matter, it really is that simple. You buy, and then you just hold. Through thick and thin, you just do. That's that. Because the crypto market, it just keeps getting bigger. And it's going to look, it may seem big now compared to like 5 years ago, 10 years ago, and sure, comparatively, but it's going to look like a little baby, stupid, tiny asset class compared to where it's going to be if you go another 10 years out, 15, 20 years out. There is life-changing wealth to be made here, folks. It's not done yet. Here's a post from the Nijin Tropic account. This is run by the co-founders of on-chain analytics firm Glassnode. And this is a post just from, a couple hours ago? When was this? 1:24 a.m. Okay, so about 2.5 hours ago. And they simply wrote here, our entire feed is negative. Time to squeeze some shorts. Stage is set, light the primer. And so I thought I'd share that just because they get it. This is not their first rodeo, of course. They recognize that when all the little baby back biatches out there on social media platform X, or any social media, it doesn't matter, when they're all pitching a fit and crying, all that crap, just bitching on the internet, that typically marks bottoms. It doesn't mean for sure that this moment is the exact bottom, but if we're not there, then we're probably close, at least for some sort of relief. Wouldn't you think? That's normally the case. But the truth is, no matter how long it takes, if you just wait, you win. It's amazing how hard it is for people to do nothing. People feel like oh my God, I feel pain because the net worth's going down. I must take action. You sure about that? How sure are you about that you must do something? I'm not confident. Here's a post from an analyst I'm not familiar with named Alex Becker. 1.3 million followers, though. So that'd be one of the larger accounts in the space. That's for damn sure here. And I just found this kind of comical. Here's what Alex Becker wrote. This is the first post that I recall ever seeing from this guy. But he wrote, "I'm not even posting anything motivational about holding this dip. The price goes down on the way up. Be a colossal bitch and sell. I don't care." Be a colossal bitch and sell. Oh, I love that one. That's a good one. He's right, though. You get to sit him. He's kind of like, you newbies, I just don't want to deal with this. It's one of those things. But yes, it's true. As the market is grinding upwards to its ultimate peak for the market cycle, which we have not hit yet, people are going to panic sell. And I saw this because XRP community member Frecky, who's been in crypto since 2011 and has had a career in finance for decades now, and he gets it. He gets big picture everything. He shared this and he wrote, "True, you will see many corrections on the way up much higher. OGs know. We don't worry about this or any short-term noise. We will go higher. Ethereum will break $5,000 and quality alts will run hard." And he tagged XRP there, by the way. And so he gets it. But I'm telling you, if you just hang out long enough, if you're not there yet, eventually these moments will come and you're like, yeah, whatever, it just doesn't matter. It just doesn't matter. It really just does not. We are going so much higher. And I'm glad he mentioned ETH there because, I mean, that's new all-time high territory for Ethereum. Haven't seen that in several years. We're going to, though, and that's important because that kicks off alt season historically. Here's a post from chart analyst CW. He says, XRP also liquidated most of its high-leveraged long positions. Folks, you hate to see it, but you know you're going to see it. I'm never going to be able to relate to the people that are not happy with the thousands of percentage gains that you can get in crypto just by waiting. You gotta juice it, don't you? You gotta add some leverage to. Oh my god, that's how you get liquidated and literally lose everything. So I tell you what, I'm holding the same quantity of XRP that I held yesterday, and a week ago, and a month ago, and a year ago, and so on and so forth. I just hodl and I win. You do not need leverage. My god, these are the people that lose money. It's just amazing. Some people never gonna learn. So yeah, all the people that, and mind you, like I'm long XRP big picture, like in that sense. Yeah, of course, XRP is obviously an early winner of the crypto space. But if you're talking about leveraging long, whew, you and I are living on a different planet, son. Here's another post from CW. And this is another reason, like this is one of the most core important things that anybody in crypto really needs to understand. I mean, there is no end-all be-all metric, to know exactly what's going to happen in the crypto space. But this is as close as you're going to get to it. It's global M2. We have over 10 years worth of data showing that Bitcoin and thus the entire crypto asset class, it just follows global M2 directionally almost 90% of the time. And I'm glad that Raoul Pal started screaming about this whenever he did, however long ago, because now way more people are talking about it. And I will continue to spread this message because it just is the case. As people and businesses and institutions have more money, and that's what this is indicating here, it's got to go somewhere. So, there are other factors, of course, but, you're likely to have a greater risk-on appetite. And so if you have a greater risk-on appetite, you're going to put it in risk-on assets like equities and cryptos. And that is what happens. That is what we see every single time directionally. That's it. It just is. And there's a lag time of about 12 weeks. So you can see this blue line, global M2, it's kept trending up. You could argue like more recently it's falling down a bit, but it lags behind it, and it doesn't mean for sure that it's peaked here. By the way, we don't know that. If it just keeps trending in this direction, what do you think happens, folks? We're not done. That, and historically, it would be bizarre for this thing to just be over, and we don't have for the first time we don't have an alt season. Even like, come on, I just don't buy that for a second. Here's a post from chart analyst Credible Crypto. I got a few things from him. This is the oldest one. This is from August 14th, and he wrote, if $114,000 to $116,000 for Bitcoin, of course, doesn't hold, this would be the next best option. And what's he talking about? There's a screen grab here showing that Bitcoin could drop to maybe about $110,000. So he's saying, again, if $114,000 to $116,000 doesn't hold, that would be the next level to watch for. And we did briefly dip below that. And he watched it throughout the day too, mind you. And so Tuesday morning, he updated this. He reposted what I just shared with you, and he said the idea shared in the below tweet may be coming into play. So he was warning again, coming up on noon on Tuesday, we might be hitting those types of levels. And we did end up seeing a bit below that. We haven't quite tagged $110,000, but that's the next zone that he was talking about. So that has occurred to this point. But how bad could this realistically get? How much more pain are we potentially going to have to feel? Because I acknowledge, and it's certainly true, we could go a fair bit lower before we resume to the upside. But either way, it's not the end of the world. Like, crypto's here to stay. XRP's here to stay. Even if it goes lower, not going to stay there forever. Sleep easy, okay? But here's what Credible Crypto had to say in the evening on Tuesday. This is at 4:05 p.m. Central. He said, it would be very surprising to me if $105,000 for Bitcoin, of course, was breached, because from a time perspective, it would set things back a bit. And at this stage of the cycle, that would surprise me. As long as $105,000 isn't breached, the implications are that we will see very aggressive acceleration to the upside in the coming weeks/months. And that is more in line with my expectations with where we are at in the cycle. Okay. I appreciate the analysis, and I think he's one of the best out there. There's a reason that he's got 475,000 followers on X. So he acknowledges, okay, it's possible you could get close to that low. And he's not even saying you couldn't go below that. He just doesn't think that's remotely probable. And when it comes to chart analysis, it's not about what is certain. You don't know for sure if you're being intellectually honest. It's about what's probable. And he's saying it's not probable that we go that low. If we do, though, yeah, you better believe there's going to be more pain for every single coin in the space, including XRP. I'm just telling you, if that happens, and I've lived through an untold number of these instances for the better part of a decade I've been in crypto, I'm telling you, it doesn't matter. You do not need to be fearful, period. It doesn't make logical sense to be fearful, because price action in and of itself is almost never an indication of some sort of fundamental problem. It really is just the asset class moves in tandem. So as long as there's utility, why would a coin like XRP, for example, go to zero? That makes no logical sense. So, if the price action is going to the downside, it's not because of the fundamentals. It's just the asset class moving in tandem based on macro factors, including global M2 liquidity. It just is. That's what is happening right now. So if you understand that, then you know what the trend is as more and more money ultimately flows into crypto. And now think about the United States pro-crypto now, the first ever pro-crypto administration run in the country. Like, the amount of, you understand, the United States, this is the largest capital market on the entire planet, and now we have the green light for the first time. Like, things are happening, folks. And I got more to say in other videos specifically on that topic, but man, what a time to be in crypto. Like, congratulations that you're in this when you are, because so many people are going to regret not jumping in when they had the opportunity in 2025. I'm just saying. So, and then here's what he had to say about XRP. So this is Credible Crypto again. This is an XRP BTC chart. And his last update on this, it was from August 15th. And he was warning that, you could see a little bit more of a move, particularly on XRP BTC down. And even now, we are down from our very local high about a month ago as XRP was running up against the dollar. You can see, of course, it was also running up against Bitcoin. That's not going to be terribly surprising. XRP, when it runs, it'll just continue to substantially outpace Bitcoin, and that shouldn't be terribly surprising here. But we ain't done. And so here's what Credible Crypto had to say about XRP BTC, and he posted this 9:37 p.m. Tuesday. He said, "We've swept the lows that I was looking for a sweep on the XRP BTC pairing. However, I've been stopped out of my lower time frame scalp on XRP USD as Bitcoin bled below the $114,000 to $116,000 zone." Okay, so we just talked about that particular Bitcoin zone, and he's saying for a short-term trade, which I still think, look, mind you, this is what he does, and he's actually really good at. He's the tiny percentage of traders that's actually good at this. 90 to 95% of people who trade lose money. So I admire the ones who are good at it. Just understand, you don't have to engage in this behavior to become wealthy in crypto. I choose not to. I don't need that extra stress and time taken out of my life. But if you want to, go for it. And again, I applaud those who find success doing it. It's just not my jam. I have no interest in doing that. I'm just going to hodl and win that way. But anyway, so I just wanted to note that he was referencing a trade there. And it's not that there's something wrong with XRP. Again, the asset class moves in tandem, so not surprisingly, as Bitcoin went, he said he got stopped out. Okay. Then he says, still think this scenario is likely to play out, but we need Bitcoin to find some footing here on the lower time frames. If Bitcoin can find a floor soon, then I think XRP is set for a nice rally to the upside. And you can imagine what that means. So presumably Bitcoin would be moving up to whatever degree. It's just that XRP is going to substantially outpace it. And that's why, like, you understand, we haven't seen, I'm going to talk more about this in a separate video, actually. It deserves its own video. But XRP, yes, we've gotten new highs against the dollar for the first time in the better part of a decade. Love to see it. But on XRP BTC, oh my God, there is room to run. There is so much room to run. And if we are correct in thinking that Bitcoin's going to go way, way, way higher, my God, because think about that. The higher Bitcoin goes against the dollar, and then if you see XRP blaze against if you look at the XRP BTC pair, you know what that means. The higher Bitcoin goes, right? And then if you do finally blast up to or past the previous all-time high on the XRP BTC pair, oh my God, that is where you get some wild life-changing wealth. So it's coming, folks. Just got to be a little bit more patient here. Here's a post from chart analyst X-Force Global. I got XRP USD on the screen here, and he simply wrote, look at the corrections in the past. They all led to major highs after, so this is good news. And you can see this chart going back, nearly a decade. And look at what happened in 2017. 61% correction, 67% correction, 78% correction, 51% correction. Here you have another one, 52% correction. We lived through that this year, And mind you, those corrections that I just cited, those are the ones that were in bull markets, like heading towards the peak. Think about that. All of those corrections I just read to you were in that phase. There have been much more substantial ones. I've lived through every single correction since when I first bought XRP, which was November 17th of 2017. I've never sold a single XRP in my life. So every single pullback that you can see on this chart going back that far, I've lived through and I've not sold. And it's served me well. All I do is hodl and then I win, and that's it. I lived through XRP pulling back over 90%, literally. And then I bought more. As it was happening, I was like, I'm going to buy more of this. Because I had done sufficient research at that point. By the time summer 2018 rolled around, I was like, oh, I'm ready for this. I was ready to dollar cost average. And oh, I did. I spent years dollar cost averaging. Capped it off with some larger purchases in 2020, and then I decided if I didn't stop purchasing XRP, I'd need to join some sort of support group to help me to stop, because I had put far more than what is reasonable into it. And I'm so glad that I have that. I'm so glad that I've done that. And here we are. So it's a good point, and it's worth sharing something like this at a time when I know people are scared, and you're not bad or stupid or weird. If you're feeling that way, you're perfectly normal. In fact, if anything, I'd encourage you to be more weird when it comes to investing, because the normies, they have trouble, okay? They have trouble achieving life-changing wealth when it comes to crypto. So all of this is normal. Highs come after this. It's not done. Here's a post from chart analyst Greg Crypto, and he says, XRP 12 days to go. A monthly body candle close above $3.30 will serve as our next launch pad, activating the measured moves ahead. Be smart and be patient. And so, mind you, this is coming from an analyst who accurately called XRP breaking out this market cycle when it wasn't cool to, chart popular stuff about XRP. And he still had all the chart analysts suffering from XRP derangement syndrome saying that guys like him were crazy. Nope. We in the XRP community were absolutely correct. And Greg Crypto was correct. And have you noticed another guy like Greg Crypto here? Not exactly freaking out that price goes down. Anyone that's been here for a while will tell you, yeah, it doesn't matter. It just doesn't matter. That's the truth. It just doesn't. Because the price action, I'll say it again, in and of itself, is not an indication of some sort of fundamental problem. It just is what it is. Humans behave in such a way that this price action occurs. That's that. So, we'll get there, folks. We're not done. I think we're going to be sooner than later. We're at the end, pretty much close to the tail end of this market cycle, but that's when the most fun stuff happens, actually. So, I'm ready, folks. I'm not a financial advisor. You should not buy or sell anything because of anything I say or write. That would be a very, very, very bad idea. Until next time, to the moon, Lambo.